Already the palliatives promised by the federal government is going out. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs today spearheaded the sharing as the lockdown orders enter day 2 in Lagos, and the FCT will dissect the issues on the lockdown tonight. And the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the National Social Register contains the data of the poorest of the poor in the country, and it will be used to give them assistance as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to spread in the country. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimaloya, Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos. The lockdown order of the federal government has entered its second day to Wednesday. The order began Monday night, and tonight we're monitoring for you some of the issues that are being generated from what has happened, and we're monitoring for you the latest on the coronavirus disease and the spread and what is being done to curtail it. The confirmed cases in Nigeria now stands at 151. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control has announced 12 new confirmed cases of the coronavirus disease in Nigeria. Of the new cases, 9 are in Osun State, 2 in Edo, and 1 case in Ekiti State. It brings the total number of recorded cases in the country to 151. The NCDC says it has also discharged 9 COVID-19 patients and recorded 2 deaths. The NCDC also says its officials will have to trace over 5,000 persons who had contact with persons that have tested positive to the virus. A presidential task force briefing held today, and from there they continue to hold and tell Nigerians information that is needed on the spread of the virus in the country and what needs to be done to stop it. At today's briefing, the health minister, Dr. Osage Hanire, says a committee has been set up to monitor the situation at the newly set up COVID-19 centers across the country. He adds that 70% of the latest confirmed cases are male, while the remaining 30% are females within the age range of 30 to 60. The government also announced that the president has approved 70,000 metric tons of grains from the National Reserve for distribution to the poor and less privileged people in the society. Well, across the Federation, state governors are also making their own efforts. It's a federating, it's a federal system of government. We operate here in Nigeria. So in every unit of the federating compartment, the governors are also making their efforts. We have some of those efforts in our political roundup. Take what, please?
The Enugu state government has begun the enforcement exercise to ensure that residents comply with the total lockdown order issued in the state to contain the spread of the coronavirus. The government had on the 28th of March confirmed 2 new cases of COVID-19, a returning couple from the UK who are currently being treated. Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi was out today at the markets and malls in company of security operatives to monitor compliance level and encourage those who came out to go home until it's safe to come out again. In Cross River State, the governor, Professor Ben Ayade, approved the release of 500 million naira for the state's newly inaugurated COVID-19 response team. The mandate of the response team, according to the governor, is to safeguard the state against the global scourge.
We'll have a first release of a sum of 500 million to support this team with additional 20 vehicles to commence the work of isolating Cross River State.
But in Bauchi State, the government is worried about the slow pace of discovering new cases of COVID-19 due to the inadequate testing kits. The Bauchi State government is appealing to the federal government to improve on the number made available to the state in order to speed up the process. The plea comes after the deputy governor, who is also the chairman of COVID-19 task force, confirms that one of the samples has returned positive, bringing to 3 the number of persons with the virus in the state.
What we are calling on the federal government is to help us, to assist us, most especially in the area of testing.
As a further step towards stopping the spread of the coronavirus to Taraba State, the state government has directed that markets and shops in the state to close down effective from 2nd of April 2020 by 11 p.m. The state government warns that the measure taken should not be allowed to cause panic buying, hoarding, or hiking prices of goods and services. The government also banned worship centers from conducting any program till further notice. At a press briefing by the state deputy governor, Haruna Manu, instructs that the close down exempt those that provide essential services like pharmacies, food stores, and petrol service stations.
It is the second day of the lockdown over the coronavirus disease in the two major cities of the country, the nation's capital, the FCT, and the commercial capital, Lagos. Some Nigerians still have questions on the lockdown: where to go, what to do at this very critical time, who can coming into these parts of the country where the lockdown has taken effect, and what should be done, especially in a state like Lagos that it's a commercial hub of the country. Tonight I have joining me to shed light on some of the questions on your minds. You can of course send in your questions on our Twitter handles that you can see on the program tonight. Don't forget, it's a 1 hour stretch of the program today. It's a media edition of the program. Joining me tonight for some of your questions is the Commissioner of Police in Lagos, Mr. Hakeem Odumosu. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We rarely have officers, military people, or officers on politics today, but such an occasion like this, it's very important for us to inform the public about what you are doing. And I saw the fact that you were moving around with your men in Lagos, around the city yesterday. How has it been, though?
Well, it has been good because the major thing is that people are now becoming aware of this. Some Dirty Thomases believed there was nothing like coronavirus. But now with advocacy, with a lot of publicity by all segments of the government, so people are now becoming aware. And with the lockdown, so that we started almost 24 hours ago now, so Lagosians have been cooperating with security agents, because they come to realize that government has good intention for them, and government want to curtail the ravaging epidemic of this coronavirus. And seeing from that angle of the government now, people are now complying voluntarily, though not 100%.
Are you having trouble? Because Lagos is bordered by majorly two states or thereabout, by land border, I mean. Ogun, Oyo. Are you having troubles? Because lockdown is not in effect in these other states. Because the governor of Ogun State has requested from the president that the lockdown should start on Friday. Are you having troubles, especially in the satellite towns and the neighboring communities to Lagos?
We are not having at all, because we have 14 towns that border Lagos and Ogun. It's only Lagos State, it's only Ogun State that Lagos has border with. The other border now is at semi-axis. That is border between Nigeria and Republic of Benin. International border. Okay. So we don't have anything. Those ones have been closed for a long time now. So that border have been closed.
Oh, so your men are mounting surveillance on those borders too?
They have been closed. So for them coming in now, so to the state now, so federal government agencies are already mounting all those ones. So that makes it lesser cumbersome for us, because the border have been closed before this lockdown. So the only area where we are concentrating much now is the border between Lagos and Ogun State. I realize that Ogun State, though, has sought permission from Mr. President that it should be on the Friday. But notwithstanding, those that are even here, they have been advocates of this to their own people. So the volume of vehicles coming in now, so have been lesser than it was, because most of them are coming to Lagos. Most of the things they want to come and do in Lagos, they have been locked down on them. So only very few have been exempted. So because of that, that has drastically reduced the volume of people coming to Lagos.
A major concern now will be the kind of people that can be on the road.
Yes.
Because it's not 100% lockdown, is it?
Not. If you read the presidential speech, paragraph 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42 are those who have the exception. I think paragraph 38 deals with the hospitals. Then paragraph 39A now deals with food production, processing, and dispensing. So the same thing, 39B now, deals with those in the petroleum industry. So that's 39B. 39C
So
now,
that's the reason why
yes,
we saw
all
those
the
trucks,
yes.
the number of trucks
Trucks
that are coming in and out of Lagos.
Because Lagos is the major depot for petroleum products. I want to talk about petroleum products now. It's not only petrol, not only diesel, but every product that comes out, including gas. So all those, so that's why you see the tankers on the road. Most of them load from Lagos depots now and move outside the state. So they are giving free access. And equally, telecommunications industry, so as well as the media, still included. So those not to be restricted. So they have to move freely. And even private security guard too, I call it there. And Port Authority working. So those that are loading the containers moving to the port now, so taking exports to the port and taking those from the vessels, so they are moving.
So also those people who are in food business are also exempted.
Production, so processing, distribution.
But
they are exempted.
Can the restaurant and the food businesses open
They're
shops?
still parts.
I mean, not in terms of movement now, because the president's order was very specific. Cessation of movement. That means you cannot move around except for those people that you have. But in terms of trade now, in terms of them opening shops, some of these ventures that we have, can the restaurants open their outlets?
No, mostly what they do is they do delivery at home.
Okay.
Now, most of them. So like all these Mr. Biggs, all these restaurants generally, they do most of that. In fact, the state governments have really done that has been on. Most of the people are already used to this before the total lockdown. And that has assisted the total lockdown because partial lockdown has started before. And with the presidential directive now, people are already getting used to. And you know, in everything now, the first 2 days, the first 3 days will be. Today, the second day. I've seen now that the issues that came up yesterday have been addressed today. So the challenges of yesterday, those that were not even aware before coming, some even say they are not aware until they got to the border of Lagos or Ogun State. We now started explaining to them. So all those ones has reduced the pressure of enforcement.
So it is not out of order for any restaurant to open. Can they open shop?
Not completely out, but because they belong to the food processing and distribution outlets.
So they can operate skeletally?
Skeletally, just like the banks, and delivery at home in the offices of those that are permitted to.
Okay, so they can have their delivery vehicles and bikes to deliver food around town.
For those who have made order. Because like today, some vehicles are going to Port Authority and they prepare food to go and serve those that are working there. So they are exempted because it's food distribution outlets and permitted now to do that.
So another issue will be, where exactly are your eyes on? Are your eyes and that of your men on the major roads of Lagos or the internal roads? Because some people will be asking, can I move to the next street to see a friend and come back home? Or is it just a major road that we are that we're not allowed to move around?
No, total lockdown, both major roads and inner roads. But if, for example, it's within a tracking distance, maybe the neighbor in the next building, the neighbor in the third building on the street, so people could still do that one. But the major thing is that they must have a total lockdown. People should remain at home if they have no reasons to. Somebody who is sick now needs medical attention. So he may be on that condition because that helps. The doctors now going home now to see a patient who has been discharged because of this. They want to monitor the health situation now. That doctor now has freedom now to move, to go and see the patient in order to save life. So all those categories of staff now, they are at liberty to move because they belong to the health section, which federal government accepted them.
What is the implication of flouting these orders?
The implication there is, in Lagos State, a law has been passed by the House Assembly in respect of this conflict. So those who violate this now deliberately for not having any reasons now there. But so far, so good. We don't have reasons now to arrest because people have been complying voluntarily. And we have been going on advocacy ourselves. So we made them now, so we talk to them, we appeal to them, let them know that it's for their own good. And they are complying. Once there's no resistance, there shouldn't be any need for anybody to be arrested. There shouldn't be any need for anybody now to use any force.
So
we have been
prosecution,
we have been using
arrest and
persuasion.
prosecution is the consequence.
It's the consequence if they are. But for now, people are complying voluntarily.
In some parts of, so I'm very sure some people may have complained to you. They are being harassed by the police because of these, blah, blah, blah. And in some other climes, you see that police, men in uniform, are chasing people to go back into the house with canes and whips and all of that. Would you resort to using batons to make people comply?
Nothing like that. Nothing like that. That is against their fundamental human rights. You don't have to treat human beings now like animals where they comply. Rather, talk to their conscience. Let them know why they have to remain at home. So since they now realize that it's for their own good, for their own health, they are complying voluntarily. So we are not using any element of force so far. So rather, we be persuading people and they will be complying.
But should you be pushed to do
well,
that?
If there is, we have the power, but that will be the last resort. And that last resort too will be the least one to be done. But people are generally complying.
Okay, so for those who have concerns, these are some of the numbers that you can call. The police in Lagos have numbers. Those numbers on your screen right now. I'll read some of them out to you. 090-1051-2285, 090-1051-2286, 090-105-12287, and 0901-051-2288. Those are the Lagos State Police Command numbers, emergency numbers, should you have any concern within this lockdown in Lagos. The Commissioner of Police, Mr. Hakeem Odumosu, has been talking to us on some of these issues. So should anybody beat anybody, they can complain to you.
Really? Because that is act of unprofessionalism. And there are disciplinary procedure to be affected. So don't beat people. It's unprofessional. It's uncivil, and this is democracy. We don't do that. And should anybody decide to be overzealous to do that, they should pick any of those numbers, all my numbers, and complain to me immediately. And action will be taken because we don't condone any act of indiscipline.
From the part of the country where I'm from, the police is in the local parlance called Olokpa. Olokpa means the user of cane. So the police years ago have been referred to those who use cane to make people comply to order. Is cane still part of, because I know you have the baton that is being, is this part of the police accessories?
No, you have answered the question.
It's a part of the accessory.
Cane is never.
It's never.
So cane is never part of our countrymen. So what you have is betting. And that betting now, there are rules and regulations in using. It's not indiscriminate using at all. There are rules, we have rules on engagement.
But
use firearms.
the baton,
So
baton is used, but cane is not allowed.
No, cane, we don't use cane. So anybody that does that one now is against our professional calling. And disciplinary action has been taken against them.
So have you had any case in Lagos of those who are, because videos are surfacing online about those who are being chased around with baton and being beaten? Have you had any complaints?
We don't have any complaints like that. I've not had any. That my men use cane, they use baton on people through this COVID-19, no.
Okay, we'll allow you to run along and some of your duties. It was a pain trying to get you because I know just how busy, but it was a great one having you. On a final note, what would be your last words on the program tonight for Lagosians and those who are coming in and out, and for those who reside in Lagos?
No, my appeal to them is they should have good conscience to comply with the directives given. They should have behind their mind that all these directives, all the steps taken by the government is for their own survival. It was said in paragraph 18 of that there may be some inconveniences, but those inconveniences are temporary one now for a better society for you and I to live in. That is what I want them to carry along with federal government, various state governments, directives to curtail the ravaging virus.
Mr. Hakeem Odumosu, a very good friend of ours, thank you so much for coming on tonight and giving this kind of information for our people at this very critical time in our lives. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. The Commissioner of Police in Lagos. We'll take a break now, and when we come back, more information on what you need to do, what government is doing, especially the palliatives that you have been asking for. Lagos government is sharing food and all other things. We get information on that. We dissect some of the policies of government in this COVID-19 period. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.